Yes everyone, good evening, welcome back to Forever United TV. I'm Adam, I'm bringing you all of your latest updates around Manchester United. Transfer news is all a go. We're putting the performance and the football aside. We are carrying on with football after this show. We're going to be doing a watch along for Liverpool at St James's playing Newcastle tonight, so tune in for that one on our other channel. That will be happening straight after this show tonight. But we are concentrating here fully on Manchester United, on the transfers, on everything that's going on with Manchester United right now. As Manchester United desperately try to get players out of the door, are fighting against other clubs to get the price that they want so they can reinvest. As Andy Mitten from The Athletic and United We Stand fanzine comes out and says he expects it to be a very busy last week of the window at Manchester United. Does he mean players all going out, or does he mean players coming in? We know about Sonny Lamans. Is there another signing for Manchester United about to come through the door? There's been a lot more talk also tonight on Kobbie Mainoo. We're going to bring you up to date with that, as we have been doing throughout the day. It started this morning, then we had the updates this lunchtime when we did a video there talking through everything that could potentially happen with Kobbie Mainoo by the end of this window. There has been more updates today. Ben Jacobs, as you can see going across the bottom of your screen there, being one of them. We'll come to that in a minute to give you all a chance to get your thoughts. Obviously, there's been a lot of news with Kobbie throughout the day, but we're going to talk about Garnacho and Antony first of all at the top end of this show and get you updated on where we're at with everything going on right now. But think again, we did it at lunchtime, we did it this morning. The closest one we have got to finalising right now is indeed Rasmus Hojlund. He's discussing personal terms. In fact, he is about to earn a lot more money than what he was on at Manchester United just by going to Napoli. Napoli are in desperate need for a striker and are all in on Rasmus Hojlund. As we know, there is definitely an option for a buyout at the end of the loan deal. We know this, and that could be triggered into a obligation. But Rasmus Hojlund is set to make substantially more money from Napoli. They have gone all out, convincing the player. The project is on the table. All that's left now, with United in full agreement for the terms that Napoli have got on the table, is to get Rasmus's signature. The only hold up on Rasmus Hojlund right now is that them stipulations, them triggers of a permanent deal. That's it. That's the only thing left to be discussed, and that's going around many sources right now. So Rasmus looks like a safe bet out of United and could be for good. That will probably be decided over the coming days. I think this week we will get the here we go on that one. I think even Romano is confident that that one will happen anyway. But other news, obviously Manchester United desperately trying to move players on, desperately trying to move players out so they can make money to potentially go out and buy somebody else. Now, when you look at everything that has gone through the transfer window with Alejandro Garnacho, again, it is all coming down to what Chelsea will pay Manchester United. And Andy Mitten has actually come out and said that they are way off. They're miles off, in fact, for Alejandro Garnacho in their bid, Chelsea. They are nowhere near what Manchester United want, and that bid has to go up. I don't understand it. I don't get how they feel like Garnacho is worth that amount of money. Yes, it's a problem. Yes, they know that Manchester United need to sell, but the bids that are going in are considerably lower than what Manchester United want. Unlikely, but still a chance that Garnacho is not moved on before the window closes on September 1st. Don't forget, Manchester United do have the backup of the Turkish and the Saudi Arabian deadlines actually finishing later on in September. So that isn't the end of the world if they don't sign, but obviously these players want to be playing at the highest level. No disrespect to the Turkish and Saudi Pro Leagues, but obviously everyone wants to be competing in the biggest leagues in the world. The Premier Leagues, La Ligas, the Italian League, Serie A, obviously Rasmus, Garnacho and Antony, all three of them looking to move to them two teams in them leagues respectively. And again, the pressure and power of players and agents against Manchester United is getting to a point now where something has to come to a head this week. United prepared to take these players back. Well, that's what the manager's saying. Behind the scenes, not so. Everybody seems confident that there is still going to be a deal. So who is writing the right report here? Romano is confident that something is going to happen. He always keeps these things close to his chest and then bang, releases them. He has always been very, very clear that Garnacho will get his move to Chelsea, and there is going to be a here we go soon for Garnacho. That, I think, is completely different, and strangely has been different to a lot of other reports. Now, you wouldn't usually go against Fabrizio Romano and say for instance, like Andy Mitten has, nowhere near, not happening. Obviously, we know that he wants to go, and personal terms are probably agreed, but it's nowhere near as confident as what Romano is with this deal happening. So, again, very, very interesting next 6 days coming up in the transfer window and what happens here, particularly with Garnacho. If Chelsea are not budging on their price, by the way, I think Choupo-Moting is now heading to Bournemouth as well for £24 million, and you still don't want to pay Manchester United, according to reports, more than £30 million. Yeah, okay, we will see on that one. But that, again, has been the big issue all along for Chelsea. Obviously getting their wrist slapped by UEFA, needing to sell players to bring in more players. They want Garnacho, they're keen on Garnacho, and they have made him their target. 100%, says Fabrizio Romano. But Garnacho is still at Manchester United, and that can only be because, yeah, you guessed it, because Manchester United are not happy with the price that Chelsea are offering. So Chelsea either moving players on to make more money, to bid more money for Garnacho, or just because they need to move players on anyway to bring Garnacho in. Whichever way you look at it, there is movements in Chelsea's side of things on Garnacho now. Choupo-Moting heading out of the door, and there is talk in Bayern and in Germany that Bayern Munich have agreed personal terms with Nicolas Jackson. So we could be getting the players out of Chelsea, which will trigger that move for Garnacho. But again, are they just going to stand firm on this? Are they just going to say and keep on saying that they are bidding for Garnacho and this is all we can afford? Are they actually doing this knowing that Manchester United are suffering? Are they selling players to make more money because United have stood firm? And until they've sold more players, they financially, with the rules that they're playing under, cannot make a bigger bid. We'll find out this week. Either way, it's all going to happen and come to a head, which is good news for us. And the stress and the drama can stop for another 4 months until the next transfer window opens. But it does look like now United have made it clear to Chelsea, and we can only hope that this is Chelsea just trying to raise funds to give United what they want. United standing firm and obviously getting the money that they want for Garnacho. Expect there to be lots of little minor details in the Garnacho transfer though, because obviously there is going to be a sell-on. He's a very young player. He's got potential. If he fulfills that potential, United will look to cash in on him. In the making at the moment, these sell-on clauses are really coming in to benefit Manchester United. In fact, Andreas Pereira is looking likely to head back to Brazil, and United have a 20% sell-on clause on Andreas Pereira at Fulham as well. That deal now is getting very close for Fulham also, which is why he was taken out of the firing line this weekend, according to Sky Sports at the moment anyway. But United do have a sell-on clause for Andreas Pereira, so that one again could give United a couple of mil more to go in and maybe buy somebody else. All of this totaling up and gathering in Manchester United's bank account to try and possibly go out and get somebody else at the end of this window. Now we know about Seny Lammens. 17.3 million is the word that is going around right now. Everything is just being finalised with him. United not needing to sell a goalkeeper. Larry Whitwell has come out and said that all through the summer Manchester United have briefed the media, told The Athletic that they would only bring in a goalkeeper if they were going to sell one of the first two that they've got in Bayende and Andre Onana. Not the case anymore, according to Whitwell. It has changed. A meeting has taken place, and United, from top to bottom, coaches to Sir Jim Radcliffe, are in full agreement now that this area of the pitch needs to be sorted and looked into. And this is why United will this week buy Seny Lammens. We will have another goalkeeper. Whitwell going as far as to say that Seny Lammens could come in and be Manchester United's number one. No takers on Andre Onana, and he still will be here after this transfer window closes. That's the word. But it's either to give Onana a kick up the backside and get him playing better, or he's going to come in as number one. Well, Onana's already getting the kick up the backside because this, like we said yesterday, was the third Premier League game now in a row, if you take last season into consideration, where Onana hasn't started and Bayendire has. He hasn't played in the Premier League for a while now, Andre Onana. I think he's already had the kick up the arse. So the way I look at it, and I don't know what you're going to say in a moment, we'll get on to the comment section next, but I look at this and I think that Andre Onana is now going to be pushed even further down the pecking order. I could actually see Sonny Lamans coming in sooner than what we thought. I don't think it will be straight away, but I think it will be a lot quicker than what people actually thought it would be. So those are the updates on Garnacho, the goalkeeping side of things, and Rasmus Hojlund. Let's get some comments in on this because I did some videos earlier on. We are going to update you on Kobbie Mainoo as well this evening. But first of all, let's give you your chance. Fully interactive this evening, everybody. Get into the live chat, please. Give me your thoughts on this. Let's see what we've got in here so far. Bear with me a second. Welcome to the Members Club, first of all. Happy life. Let's see what we've got in here now. Ineos sacked 5 managers in 4 years at Nice. If people think he is safe, then just look at their history in football. There does seem to be a bit more of a different relationship when it comes to Ruben Amorim and Sir Jim Radcliffe, though, doesn't it? We were lucky with the points Erik ten Hag left. This manager is stuff relegation is made of. And no, we were lucky to get rid of Ten Hag, to be honest, because we was going down the exact same pathway. And we still would have had the negative players that we've got right now. Look, whether it works under Ruben or not, at least the groundwork has been done with this culture, the squad and everything else that's happening right now. And it took him to stand up to these players that would have just kept us floating around mid-table. Yeah, it's not relegation, I know, and you could argue that point, but still, mid-table is still not good enough for Manchester United. Should offer Mainoo to Brighton on loan and make another offer for Baleba. He could throw Kobbie Mainoo in the other way. You never know. Brighton might take it. They're looking for more forward-thinking players. I believe in patience, but we have had a massive chasm in midfield for over 12 years. It does my head in that it hasn't been addressed. It has been addressed, but just not very well. And by that I mean we've just not bought in the right types of players. It's as simple as that. That's it. The right types of players have eluded Manchester United through poor recruitment or whatever over the last 10 years. And yeah, we have never really rectified a big issue in this team throughout the years. It's just always continuously been there, and I think it's going to continue to be there until they go out and get one of the best players that they can get, instead of trying to skimp around the edges and just get the next best thing. The next best isn't the best. United need to get what is out there and go all in on getting that player. I still believe that would be Carlos Baleba or an Adam Wharton, that type of player for us. And at the moment, there are no signs whatsoever that United could go back in. We're waiting for that bombshell news, I think, more than anything else. There has to be some big moment coming when it comes to Manchester United in the transfer window. If we're going to bring anybody in, that is, there has to be some massive updates coming in over the next few days anyway. But we will see what happens and hold our breath. But at the moment, it is trying to gather as much money as possible while selling players, and then getting into what we can do in bringing players in. I don't think Sonny Lamans is going to take too much away from us going out and buying a midfielder in terms of the cost. 17.3 million is substantial, but it's not bank busting, is it? Let's be honest, it's not bank busting for Manchester United to go and get it done. Amorim plays Mbeumo in 10. He's a winger. He plays Bruno in 6. He's a 10. He plays Ahmad at right wing back. He's a 10. The list goes on. Gets that manager gone. Well, Mbeumo can play 10 and plays 9. I agree with the other ones, but I don't agree with getting him gone just yet. He needs to learn from this and learn fast. Otherwise, I think he will be gone before Christmas. That's not through me. That's just knowing how football works. I was on Sky Sports this morning talking about this. 28 points in 29 games. He's earning less than a point a game at the moment in the Premier League, which is unthinkable. It is relegation form for Ruben Amorim while he's been in charge for Manchester United, sadly. And that cannot continue. For him, no matter what we know he's done and what he's trying to do behind the scenes, results have to get better. And he knows this as well. He'll be the first to come out and say that he needs to start winning games. Hi, Mods and Chats, and Adam, you owe me a prize of pain, a prize of painkillers and a new plate. Lumi daughter seen you on Sky Sports. I was under the kitchen sink when my daughter shouted, "Dad!" I ran in and looked, and there's Adam. But you bumped your head as well on the way out by the look of that emoji on the screen right there, mate. I'm sorry about that, pal. Yes, I was on Sky Sports earlier on, fighting the... Well, not so much fighting the Bruno, but I think being realistic about the Bruno situation, like I always am. But again, it's a lot of work to do in 6 days worth of transfer window still being open, and I am not fully confident. That's all I'll say. I want to be surprised, but I'm not holding my breath, is all I'll say. Well, if that's all they can afford, it looks like they don't get him. It's quite simple. Plus, it pisses Garnacho off even more, so that's a bonus. Clinging on to little wins, I think, Ian, is what we would say this is, isn't it? Garnacho needs to be paid for. And if they don't come forward with it, I don't think Manchester United have got a problem at all in standing their ground. I think they'll be quite happy to just sit tight and let him sit, well, maybe go to Turkey. Maybe go to the Saudi Pro League. Look, if Garnacho wants to be part of the World Cup, he's going to have to play throughout this winter. This autumn. And then maybe get a move in January where he wants to go. Look, he's going to have to start thinking a lot, isn't he? An awful lot about what's going on. Don't forget, guys, by the way, we are doing a shirt giveaway. Replica, retros and up-to-date shirt giveaway on 98,000 subscribers. We're about 29 away, I think, something like that at the moment. So if you want to get us up there and subscribe if you haven't already, and we can do this draw and get our first prize winner. We're going to do it on 98, 99 and then 100,000 subscribers. So giveaways coming, everybody. Have to get that subscriber mark to that point first, and then we will be giving free lucky subscribers one of the replica shirts of their choice. Tim says he's not doing himself any favours. You can't pay 74 million on a striker and start him on the bench. If Amorim does get sacked, he'll only have himself to blame. I think that's the view of quite a few Manchester United fans at the moment. But also, I feel like he is trying to nurse Benjamin Sesko in at the moment. He's trying to get him to a point where he can just play him from the start, fully fit, knowing that he's right. I think he's adapting at the moment. We're seeing good glimpses in the game against Fulham, little moments here and there, but nothing really major. Look, he needs goals, and you've just paid a lot of money for a striker. I get it. I do get it. But I think Ruben knows the player better than what we do at the moment. So let's just see. Let's just see. As it goes on, we will find it. Right, in terms of, like, people are actually saying there, like, in terms of the PSR situation, Manchester United can go over in terms of spend by £140 million. They can go over by 140 million. They're not going to do that because that's going in debt of 140 million. It's not that we've got 140 million to spend. We can go over it and still be safe. But then we won't have much in the next financial year. It's not as cut and dry as, yeah, we can just go spend all of that money now. We had to put Cunha on last year's finances. So, yeah, there is a lot of reports going on about what Man United can spend. The overdraft facility that Manchester United have got, the revolving credit facility, that could play a part in it if United found the right target. But unless they find that right target, it might only be outgoings from now until the end of this window. I'm just not, don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but I don't want to get anybody overly excited about what might happen. I have no idea of any stories regarding players coming in at the moment, so I can't bring you any more news and good news on that. I am waiting like everybody else to get that big one, though. But we are getting movement on outgoings. Maybe that will prompt something in the last few days of the window. We will see. The unfortunate thing is Ruben Amorim has got another press conference to do this week where he will probably tell us all that nothing is happening right now. But again, let's just hope that there is something planned and in the offing for Manchester United in the last week, because the midfield is dying a slow death. It is, isn't it? And that, I think everybody can see from the weekend. The poll we've got running right now: will Garnacho and Antony be sold this week? 59% of you only think that they will be sold. There is a good chunk of people that thinks Manchester United will hold their ground. On Antony, that brings us into that. Quickly, one more comment there from Andrew, who says we have to Ruben more time. We have to give Ruben more time. I think that was supposed to say. But I have said before, if things don't improve, I believe he will only get until October/November. Come on, United, start playing the way Ruben wants you to play. Yeah, that would be nice, because that means that we would actually get some cohesion on the pitch for more than 30 minutes, which would be good. Antony, where are we at with him right now? Well, the situation with him is, according to Mike McGrath, is there is optimism now that Betis and Manchester United can come to an agreement and can also get to within the ballpark range, like around that ballpark figure of what Manchester United want. Like, there never seems to be any conviction in a journalist writing about Antony. And the only reason that I'm bringing this up right now is because there's 6 bleeding days left of the transfer window. So Mike McGrath of The Telegraph is writing that United are in club-to-club talks right now, and have been over the weekend again with Real Betis. They are now pushing hard to get the deal done, and both parties are happy to try and make this happen. But United will still stand their ground over the price that they want. It is down to Betis to start getting somewhere near what Manchester United want. And until they do get there, he's going to be staying at the club. I think United are confident, and we've said this all along with Antony. He wants to be part of the World Cup. Unlike Jadon Sancho, who's never going to get there anyway, Antony has just got back into the Brazil squad. He needs to be playing football. We've got Kobbie Mainoo, Rasmus Hojlund, Manuel Ugarte, Joshua Zirkzee, players like this that have not featured a minute yet this season, who have done nothing wrong, who have featured for Ruben last season, who can't get minutes at the moment. How do you think Antony coming back would fare under Ruben Amorim? He's not really fallen out with him that much. There's a standoff between the clubs, and Betis are taking advantage of United's situation at the moment, but Antony knows he needs to get to a football club this transfer window. Otherwise, World Cup dreams could be up in smoke, because there's 3 international breaks from now until the January transfer window, and then one after. And that one after might not be enough for Antony. He's going to have a half a season off and then go and absolutely smash it from January forward, if he actually gets the move in January, because United might still say no. Simple as. We're not being held to ransom. And if United hold their ground, Antony is in big, big trouble. And that, I think, is something that we definitely need to keep an eye on, because I think that is why we are going to see the back end of Antony. He is going to move. And I do think that Betis will get closer to what Manchester United want. I honestly feel that United right now would probably take around about 30 million quid. That's it. Antony gone out the door, taking a tiny little bit of loss, but to get his wages off the book and a little bit of money into the bank account, I think they'll take that. Look, if it's 30 million, they're going to get around about a 5 million loan fee off Rasmus Hojlund, so they could probably cover that, cover what they're not getting, what they need to draw even with Antony on PSR terms, with the little loan fee off Rasmus Hojlund. Little wins everywhere when it comes to it in this transfer window, and that's what United have done all along. Tiny little sell-on clauses that have worked out for us, getting the money from the Asian tour, getting the money from the USA tour, obviously getting the penalty fee for Sancho, little bits here and there. I just mentioned the sell-on 20% for Andres Pereira. I know it's minimal, but again, tiny little infringements, tiny little bits of money coming into United will go a long way to helping Manchester United finance, or help them do a deal where Betis can finance taking Antony. It's going to be tight, and we're not going to get anywhere near what we ideally want, I don't think. But still, you got to look at this and say that we are now in a position where it's closer than it ever has been. Okay, it does look like we have some big updates coming in. And it does look like, according to Damasio right now, I'm just going to get this up on my screen. We have some breaking news, everybody, on Rasmus Hojlund. It now looks like, I'm just going to bring it up. It now looks like this is a done deal. Rasmus Hojlund is in. I'm just bringing it up now. Right, okay. I've got it right here in front of me now. It's from Damasio. He says, just in, Rasmus Hojlund and Napoli has reached a basic agreement regarding his salary. Progress has also been made in negotiations between the clubs. So, agreement on personal terms for Rasmus Hojlund has moved this on to the next level now. Like we were just saying at the top of the show, everything I feel is moving in the direction of Rasmus Hojlund leaving. We was talking about them personal terms. It now looks like the personal terms have an agreement in place. So if that is there, then Rasmus is clearly open to this deal and is happy with what Napoli are offering. So progress has also been made, negotiations between the clubs, like we just reported earlier on. This, I think, is now very big when it comes to Rasmus Hojlund. It looks like this deal is about to be finalised as well. On top of that as well, some more news which just come out. Bruno Fernandes is seriously considering an offer from Al Ittihad and has not made his decision yet. Now, checking out the sources on this, they're all Saudi sources. Again, as you'd expect, quite a big Saudi Arabian source, followed by Fabrizio Romano, whether that counts for anything. Let me just read what they are actually called. Al Modric, however you pronounce it. Honestly, I look at this and probably say, no, still, I don't think he's going anywhere. So anybody hoping to get rid of Bruno Fernandes, like this news and these little bits of news, I think people and journalists have just jumped onto because obviously it's hot topic right now. Bruno's unhappy. You've probably seen the fan base that are not too happy. Manchester United. I mean, I just don't see it going. I just don't see it going that way. I really don't. And for many reasons now, looking at Bruno Fernandes' situation, he knew that there was going to be some tough games coming up. He knew it wasn't going to be all hunky-dory. And just 2 games in, for me, that doesn't convince me enough that Bruno has completely changed his mind and has said he wants out. I don't believe that. These sources can come out with this. These sources can actually say that Bruno is seriously considering it. He probably is, but it doesn't mean that he's going. Rasmus Hojlund, on the other hand, this now looks like deal done to me. And I think that Rasmus is heading out the door. I do. I think this has now got to a point. If personal terms are agreed, this was the whole thing. It was all on the personal side for Rasmus. United were always going to be on board with this, but Rasmus was preferring the permanent move. So if he's agreed on something, he feels like he can reach these triggers and these stipulations, which then turn this into a permanent deal, an obligation from an option. So, yep, I'm happy with this. Rasmus, unfortunately for him, was never good enough for Manchester United. Unfortunately for him, never hit it off fully with the Man United fans, and now looks like his days are numbered at the football club, and he's off to Italy again. Bye-bye, Rasmus Hojlund. It looks like he has played his final game for Manchester United, and sadly for him, it was in a meaningless friendly in a 2-2 draw in America, and that's all she wrote, I'm afraid, for him. Get your comments in, everybody, on them little snippets of news. Is there anybody out there that feels like Bruno is really seriously considering moving to the Saudi Pro League? Like, he could go to any of the Saudi pro clubs, like Ittihad. Like, yeah, they've got Benzema. Yeah, but El Nazar, they have got, obviously, Ronaldo. And then you've got Al Hilal, who were the originals that were going for him, that were going to give him the world. Why would he choose Al Ittihad all of a sudden? It makes no sense. That's why I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. And look, surprise me. Like, come on, Bruno, show me. Surprise me. I just don't think that Manchester United... United have always said that they would leave it to Bruno Fernandes. I don't think they're bothered. They would love to keep him, but if the right offer came in and Bruno said he wants to go, they're definitely not standing in his way. Ineos would override any decision that Ruben Amorim has got in this. They would completely cook what Ruben is wanting, and they would throw it out. They would sell him. I guarantee you United would sell Bruno Fernandes. Do you believe the stories about Bruno considering the Saudi Pro League right now? We just put a poll up to gauge your thoughts on this. Let me know what you're thinking, everybody. Let's get a couple of comments in on everything that's happening here. There's a bit of news actually come out while we've actually been live, which is always nice. T-Man says, thank you for the super chat, matey. I'm curious what the narrative would be if we put our chances away yesterday like we should have. We win the game. Okay, on this quickly, the chances that we had yesterday. Cunha hits the post, Cunha goes through and Leno saves it. Bruno scores the penalty. I countered that yesterday by saying, well, Leno missed the header, but we got our luck back because it deflected and went in. So we can cancel out one of the goals, really, there. Yeah, you could say that one cancels out maybe Cunha going clean through on goal. Could the ball have gone in the net off the post from Cunha? Could Bruno Fernandes have scored his penalty? Yes, of course. I make that 2 goals for United. Still would have been a bit dicey, though, because Fulham could have put their chances away. Let's not forget that. There was a couple of chances for them also. But again, we wouldn't be talking about Bruno's penalties. We wouldn't be talking about transfers for players leaving Manchester United. We would be talking about Man United being in the top half of the table. But again, the narrative changes off results. Like I've always said, if United are doing well on the pitch, United are doing well off the pitch. It goes hand in hand. If it's carnage on the pitch, everyone's looking for problems off the pitch because they need something to blame. And they need somebody to blame, which is why you get all of the crap with the owners and everything like that going on. Just like Rasmus, Sesko will fail because he will not get service. He will get no service. Well, again, on that note, you have got players in this squad that will give him service. Right now, you're probably looking at what? Ruben Amorim to sort that out. I would say that, won't you, Torna-chan? Thanks for the super chat again, mate. Let's get a few more comments in on everything going on. Bruno Fernandes, get in that poll, everyone. 51% of you actually think that Bruno is seriously considering going to the Saudi Pro League right now. Ruben loves Bruno and we can't do nothing about it. We can because we've got Ineos in charge. And Ineos will have the final say on this, I feel. Bruno Fernandes has always been told, from what I know and what the reports have said, that he can leave Manchester United if he wants and the club won't stand in his way. Ruben doesn't want Bruno to leave. He said at the end of last season he will see the things that we are doing and want to stay. That's not a manager for me saying he is making sure that Bruno stays. He's trying to convince him to stay. And that could change in the last week of the window. I don't think it will. I think Bruno's strong enough to handle any criticism coming his way. He's not going to be deterred by anything going on within the fan base. He knows the way he plays. He knows how much it infuriates fans as well as really pleases fans and entertains fans. He knows the type of player he is. He said this as soon as he walked through the door. I still remember that interview that he did where he said, the fans love me now, but let's see when they get used to me and the way that I play. If they love me then when things start going wrong. It's like he knew that this sort of thing was going to happen just by the way he is. At least he's accepting of what he actually is. The problems are still there regardless of Bruno hitting that pen. We are not controlling games. Come on. No, there was no control of that game for yesterday for Manchester United. There was no control for any team, and that's dangerous for us because we don't put chances away. We don't score enough goals. If the game is open like that, you at least need to be convincing and show a little bit of conviction in front of goal, which we lack severely, I'm afraid. And therefore, when the games are like that, we often drop points. It's always been the same. Carlin with the chat says, whatever you think of Bruno buying 210s and keeping him to play in the central midfield is stupid. He stays and is a 10 in rotation, or get rid of him. Personally, I would get rid either way. Look, if the money's there and United are looking to try and invest it into another area of the pitch, i.e. the midfield, I think Manchester United, Ineos in particular, would look at that as a perfect opportunity. And if Bruno was open to going, they would allow him to leave, no matter what Ruben wanted in this. In terms of Antony, we just had an update now, actually. This is how this transfer window is going to go, by the way, so stay tuned constantly because the news is just going to keep on flooding in. So in the last couple of minutes, we've had an update from Damashev on Sky, who has said, up until now, Betis have been unable to match United's preference for Antony. They do not want to do another straight loan. They want a permanent element attached to any deals. So far, Betis have proposed creative loans. That's the word from it. So, from Betis' side of things, they want Antony permanently, but cannot afford to pay everything this summer. So, this now rolls into, like Damash says there, the creative side of this transfer and what can be done. Can Betis pay anything this summer as a down payment that United will be happy with? Are they paying all of his wages and then another payment possibly next summer? It's like a normal sort of transfer anyway, where you're paying in installments. But it's difficult and it's different over in Spain. And to meet their guidelines in La Liga, it is, let's just say, it's a lot harder than what it is in England. It is very, very complicated. And Betis, with no finances, well, some finances, but not as much as the big guns, are going to struggle to meet what Manchester United actually wants. But every single Man United fan will come back and say, well, why did you spend money on two other players then before you bought Antony, who apparently is the player that you really want back at your football club? It doesn't seem that way when you're not willing to put money down on him, does it? And that's where we're at right now with Antony. So, bit of an update there from Damashev. We've had two updates while we've been live. Rasmus Hojlund, apparently, according to Damasio, has now got a verbal agreement in place for personal terms, which is very big because that's been the sticking point with this whole thing, convincing Rasmus. But if the terms are in, then it's looking like this is moving very, very quickly and going forward now. So, that now looks like Manchester United are looking in a healthy position. Is that going to help Manchester United subsidise other deals this summer, like we just mentioned, Antony? If Real Betis can only afford a certain amount this summer, does this deal with Rasmus actually help them and help them say to, let's say, for instance, Betis, what about this amount down this summer and then another amount down next summer and so on and so forth? Manchester United just don't want to be paying Antony's wages. That's it. No more wages. So that's what we have to look at in this. And when you look at the situation with Antony, you look at the situation with Garnacho, again, just putting a little bit of credit on to Rasmus's shoulders here for how quickly you moved this deal forward and how convinced and how determined he was to get fully away from Manchester United. So the loans for Rasmus, permanent. Eventually, the loans for Antony, if this happens from Betis, will be permanent. United just don't get their money right away, by the sounds of it. That's where we're at with them two. No more offer on the table yet, apart from Romano saying we're very, very close to getting a deal done for Alejandro Garnacho. Zilcho, nothing, nata. Yeah, nothing for Jadon Sancho at the moment. No update whatsoever. Gone quiet on Roma, gone very quiet on Juventus, and again, clock is ticking. We are expecting updates on Jadon Sancho this week. There is going to be some late shifts this week, everybody, as well. I'll be covering everything as it happens. Don't think there's going to be a lot of sleep going on this week. Determined to bring you all the coverage of the transfer window. And on deadline day, we're looking to do a full-on special as well here on Forever United TV and on Football Talks as well, our other channels. That link is in the live chat right now, everybody. Don't forget. By the way, everybody, you will have noticed the QR codes for our sponsors as well in Match Bingo. There is a Match Bingo special again tonight. If you want to join us over on to Football Talks, more details on that over there. That is kicking off at 7:15. So make sure you do come and join us for the watch along as well, where we're just going to carry on the football chat. Expecting a really good game tonight, though, between Newcastle and Liverpool. And of course, OK Jerseys, our replica shirt sponsor. Get into them as well, and obviously grab yourself a bargain like many people have already done, and the feedback on it on these shirts has been absolutely awesome. It really has. People buying up all sorts of replica retros from different countries, different teams across the world, including United and all the Premier League teams. It is all there. You'll see me wearing it. Grab yourself an absolute bargain there as well. But don't forget, like when we hit a certain amount of subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway with some of them shirts as well. And so it's important if you haven't subscribed that you do. Because that way we can give something back and give you your chance to get hold of one of these great replicas. So, yeah, get into the subscriber count there, people, yourself by subscribing. Hit that bell notification button as well for all the news that is coming up. Right, I did promise you that I'd bring you up to date with the Kobbie Mainoo. We've done it all day, and we are quite clear, and I have been quite clear, throughout the day where we stand with Kobbie. First of all, this morning it's unfair. Kobbie Mainoo is fighting for a position with Bruno Fernandes, and we know that he is just not going to get this. He's not going to get this position off Bruno Fernandes. He's not going to play, basically. Simple as. So we then move on, and then TalkSport, Graham Bailey, both come out and say that Kobbie Mainoo is open to leaving Manchester United this summer transfer window. Yes, he's open to leaving this window. That is genuine. And then Ben Jacobs tonight comes out and says that Kobbie Mainoo is 100% considering options for leaving Manchester United. The player was committed to staying, but lack of opportunities has changed the dynamic. That coming straight from Ben Jacobs there. The lack of opportunities has changed the dynamic between Kobbie Mainoo, Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. Which is why I said earlier on in that video on Kobbie Mainoo, if Kobbie is more hopeful of getting a loan, that means he wants to come back. Why would you want to come back if it's the same situation? I asked the question, does that tell you that Kobbie Mainoo isn't fully trusting in Ruben Amorim? A permanent deal is what United would like, and Andy Mitten has actually said that United would be open to a massive offer if it came in. So, does he think that Kobbie Mainoo will go? Everyone will tell you at Manchester United, no. And that will be the whole conversation. Anyone involved or connected to the club will tell you no. Kobbie does not want to leave United, but he wants to play football. Yes, he'll play against Grimsby. But then when the big game comes at weekend, which United must win, and Ruben's picking a team that he knows is going to keep him in a job, Kobbie will not be in that side. And that is going through a player's head. We cannot, as a fan base, moan or bitch about Kobbie Mainoo wanting to leave Manchester United. I think everybody is understanding of the situation that Kobbie, if he wants away from the football club, it's warranted because he isn't going to get the time. Chris Wheeler actually says in the Daily Mail, Kobbie demanded 180 grand weekly contract at Manchester United, but Manchester United refused. He's unlikely to leave before the transfer window closes. This has been said a lot, and a lot has been said regarding certain things. Chris Wheeler also said United would not bring in a goalkeeper, along with a lot of other journalists. And Laurie Whitwell has already had to come back and say the dynamics changed. Ben Jacobs said that Manchester United would only bring in a goalkeeper if Andre Onana leaves. We brought in a goalkeeper. Ben Jacobs has also said that Manchester United were unlikely to sell Kobbie Mainoo this summer. But he's also come out and just said the dynamic has changed. And this is the problem you've got when a season starts and the transfer window is still open. And why I've always said, wait for this week to happen, because this week is going to be absolutely off the bleeding scale. It's going to be crazy. And just be prepared for it. with all clubs. It seems unlikely that Mainoo will follow Garnacho and Hojlund out of Old Trafford in what remains of this window. There can still be a bright future for him at United if the stars align again. But it could be a long road back, and it might have to start in Grimsby. If the stars align again, which means, what, is he starting from scratch? This is the player that's had a taste for international football tournaments. This is the player that's had a taste for playing first-team football for his boyhood football club. And now he's having to start again. You can see why we would understand, like, everyone get in line. You're playing at Manchester United. You have to work your way into the club. But from the player's side and the modern-day footballer, you can see why he might not like that. And why he might want out of the football club. That's all I'm saying. I just think that there is a chance and the possibility that Manchester United end up losing Kobbie Mainoo this transfer window still. Look, if you were asking me right now, let's just go through the news again here. Out of all of the players that Manchester United could end up selling, loaning out, or losing this transfer window, could it be Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes? No and no. I don't see them going, personally. Rasmus, yes. Garnacho, Sancho, Malacia, Antony, yes. I see all of them players going. I can see a goalkeeper going by the end of this window as well. I do think that one of Onana and Bainday, most likely Bainday, to be honest, because he's cheap and he's not really costing United anything. Romano in the last minute, by the way, just come out. Here we go. This is what I keep saying again. Here we go is soon, basically. Romano just out 1 minute ago. Negotiations between Napoli and Manchester United are at the final stages of a loan deal with buy option clause to become mandatory. Talks underway with Rasmus Hojlund and his camp over personal terms again today, with Napoli and Antonio Conte pushing to get it done. Full on, here we go, on its way for Fabrizio Romano and Rasmus Hojlund here, I feel. This is very, very close now. Damasio has already come out tonight and said that these personal terms that Romano was talking about have been agreed. There is a lot happening with Rasmus, and it does look like it is getting to this point now. It does. Just checking through everything and what's happening. Just checking through as well. Don't forget, not just transfer news tonight. We're going over to football talks after this show. It's the watch along for Manchester United. For Liverpool versus Newcastle at St James's Park. So join us there, everybody, please. We are building that channel up from scratch just this year. Make sure you do come along and get involved in the watch along, have a chat. We are the most chilled out watch along channel that you will find, except when United do something stupid. That's mainly on here though. On football talks, we have a right ball, and yeah, I've said this before. Get ready for the upgrades. Get ready for the channel going to a whole new level, everybody. It is coming, and it should be here by this time next week. So yes, I cannot wait to get everything rolling and moving with it, but it is going to be absolutely mint. Translation, fantastic. Mancunian slang, if you didn't already know. Come on, you've been watching me long enough, you know what I'm like. I like to throw the odd one in there. Slang word, that is. Right, let's get back to your comments. It's a lot to get through there and dissect. I get that, sorry. We had a lot of news coming through as the show was going on there, everybody. By the way, only 16 subscribers away from doing the actual giveaway as well. So that is not going to be too far away. Maybe tomorrow we will get to that. Or could you get there before we finish up? We have only got a couple more minutes left of the show. So unlikely, but it will be nice to start a fresh day with a giveaway, though. I will say that. Hang on. Let me just check. Let's see what else we've got in. Yeah, no, just the same one coming through there from Romano. That is the latest update that we've got on transfers, everybody. Romano saying, and Damasio saying, Rasmus Hojlund, here we go, is not far away. By the way, everyone, if you haven't, please pop a like on the video. We are about to hit 500. That would be absolutely mega. Thank you again, everyone. A few more comments in. Let's go. Bruno, position-wise, played like a CM yesterday. Refer heat map issue was we were outnumbered in the centre in the last 30 minutes. Amount starting from 10 was dropping to make the numbers till he was off. Till he was off. Just play a bleeding 4-4-2. Patience is what is needed. Kobbie will get time, people. People are forgetting Casemiro didn't use to play, and now he's a starter. Yeah, he's a starter, but again, Casemiro's at the end of his career and he's not too bothered. Well, he's not as bothered as Kobbie is about his future. That's what we're going to look at. Okay. Ben Jacobs. What's Ben Jacobs doing here? This isn't Ben Jacobs like. This is proper. He has taken a leaf out of Indy's book here. He's taking a leaf out of Indy Kelly's book here with this one. Listen to this. Some news from Saudi dropping at 8 p.m. UK. Ooh, stay tuned. Right. And that's coming from BT3, which is an account... who is BT3? Let me check. Is that Silver? I'm not sure who that actually is. I don't know if that is. Translate bio. Yeah, no, he's just got Pep on there and David Silva on his profile picture. Don't know who this guy is, but he's got 1.2 million. It looks like he's some form of journalist over there in Saudi Pro League. If Ben Jacobs is using him and atting him in his tweets, then there is something significant about this. 8 o'clock tonight, we will actually be on the watch-along at that point. So that is going to be interesting. Some news from Saudi dropping at 8 p.m. UK time. Ben Jacobs is the master in Saudi Pro League. Who else could it be? Is there anyone right now that we know of that's in the news or is being linked with a move to Saudi? Does anybody know? Think about it. Think of all the transfer news about anyone big. Is there anyone going to Saudi? Or anyone being linked with the Saudi Pro League right now that we should be thinking about? Not too sure. I can only think of Bruno or something like that. Oh, I'm going to have to stay close to that one. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep an eye on it. So if you want to carry on and see what happens with that news, we might actually be breaking it while on Football Talks. Link in the live chat right now, everybody. Get onto that. We are going to redirect you over to the platform anyway when this show finishes. Please stay in there, have a chat, get involved. Watch along with us, give me your thoughts on it. We will bring you any news that comes while on that show as well. I'll be keeping an eye on everything throughout the night. But that, for now, on here, is everything. Cheers, everybody. And again, get your comments in below. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all of your messages and comments in there as well. Don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we should be doing our first giveaway on 98,000 subscribers tomorrow, unless something big breaks tonight. And trust me, if anything does break after the watch along tonight, I'll be bringing it to you well after Liverpool versus Newcastle. Yeah, I feel like I'm just getting myself set for absolute craziness right now. There's so much news coming in. Right, okay, that's it. We'll finish up there, everyone. Thank you so much. Love you all. Get over to Football Talks right now. I'm going to send you across there in a minute anyway. Have a great evening, everyone. And let's enjoy the football tonight.